Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So today I'm going to be taking you guys through my winter goals wrap up. I was going to combine this with my spring goals, but I don't know, I did that earlier on and I felt like everything was a little bit too rushed when I combined it together, and I just would like to keep them separate. I'm going to try it out and then we can decide which one actually works better, combined or separate. We'll see. You'll have to tell me, you guys, which one you prefer. I'm going to go through my personal goals, followed by my channel goals, and then my bookish goals, and then we can see how well I did. So for my first personal goal, I wanted to watch The Witcher, and I did that. I watched The Witcher, I really enjoyed The Witcher, and I'm glad that I watched it when I did, because it was so close to me having read the first set of short stories, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was fun, and to be honest, that goal was mostly to get me into watching more TV series, and I feel like I sort of nailed that. I've actually watched more series in the last 2 months than I have done in probably the last 2 years, and I feel like that was a good stepping stone start point, so I could, get into doing that. My next personal goal was to hoop once a week. I do hula hooping. I don't know if you guys know, hoop dance sort of thing, and yeah, I just wanted to sort of keep up with it because I've been neglecting it for a long time. So I have actually done that one. I have been sort of keeping track of it on my bullet journal tracker, the habit tracker that I've got, and I think I've been doing really well with it. I feel good. So that one's another check. Next one is to find a colour to paint my living room, and I've half checked this one off because so I think I found a colour that I would like, and I picked up a swatch for it and I put it next to my other swatches and I was like, yeah, this actually looks quite nice. I just haven't got a paint pot of it, so I haven't actually been able to test it to see what it looks like in the lighting in the room. So I've half done it because I'm like, yes, I think I've got a colour, but I don't really know if I've got a colour because I haven't really tested it. But I kinda have. Kinda. I've made more strides with that than I have in the last year, so it counts. Oh no. So the next personal goal was to cut back the giant bush in my garden, which I definitely haven't done, and now it's too late because it's started to bloom. So I'm just gonna have to leave it there. It's just gonna have to be bushy in the garden, and my neighbour's just gonna have to look at this giant bush. Which, I'm okay with, because I actually don't want to see into my neighbour's garden because I find that a bit creepy. We have to have fences at a certain height, and we're all taller than the fences, so I don't want to see in my neighbour's garden. No offence to my neighbour, I'm sure you're a lovely man, but I'd just rather see a bush. So unfortunately this bush is going to be giant because it's already giant, so that's a shame. That was one I really could have done with doing, but I procrastinated it too much and it rained a lot, so I didn't get that done. So the next personal goal I set myself was to watch 3 films I hadn't seen before, and I actually did way more than that. I watched 8 films that I've not seen before in January and February, so I feel like I've been sort of smashing my way through this, but I only recorded the first 3 that I watched. But if you guys do want me to do a sort of a wrap up of the things I've been watching, let me know, because I'm totally up for doing that. The first 3 films that I watched this year were The Thing, but the 2011 version, because I watched the 80s version, I think it's the 80s that it was done in, last year, and I really, really loved that film. The prequel was kind of the same, but less good, because CGI, and it was still enjoyable. I love a good creature shapeshiftery type thing. It was fun. The next film that I watched was Fighting with My Family, and that is a fun film about wrestling, and I don't know anything about wrestling at all. Nothing about wrestling. I've never been into wrestling, but the film was really funny. It had a really good cast, and it was just a really interesting film to watch because it's about determination and it's about fighting for your dream, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a really good film, and if you've not watched it, it's on Netflix. It's really good. And the last film that I watched was To All the Boys I Loved Before. I've been putting that film off for ages because I was like, I'll read the book, and I've just settled it in my head. I'm never reading that book because I don't enjoy contemporaries largely, so I was like, why not just watch it? I can have a good fun time watching it, and yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a fun watch, very teenagery, but it was still fun. I liked it. So my last personal goal was to watch 6 films at the cinema, and I definitely kicked that one's ass. I think I watched 9 films in the cinema, but I'll just tell you about the first 6. So the first film I watched was The Gentleman, and it was shit, and I would not advise that you watch it because it was toss. full of like racist teenage boy humour that I didn't enjoy. Then I watched Bombshell, which is like the opposite sort of film. That was a great film, that was very well acted. I didn't really know much about that situation with Fox News, and it was really interesting to sort of go through what happened and how it happened. Then I watched 1917, which is a cinematic masterpiece, and I just really enjoyed it. It was very, very visually pleasing. And it was a really interesting story that was very compelling to watch, and I think that the actors in it did such a fantastic job. Not including the peppered in famous faces, but the two main soldiers were just top notch. I really enjoyed them. Then I went to see Richard Jewell, and that film was a diamond in the rough. Ho 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 ho, puns puns, ha, no. Anyway, it was a really great film. I really enjoyed it. Some of it made me cringe because like the tactics that people were using to try and get the man to confess to something he didn't do were just like, oh, don't say that, don't say that. And yeah, that was very uncomfortable for a lot of the times, but Kathy Bates and Sam Rockwell did such a fantastic job, and I don't know the name of the guy who played Richard Jewell, but he also did a fantastic job mirroring the real man. Yeah, I just thought it was really, really good. Then I went to see The Personal History of David Copperfield, which is based on a Dickens, which is very surprising that I liked it. Maybe it was because it was like sort of out there and a bit different. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Tilda Swinton was my fave because she's just great, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Oh, and sadly the last film that makes it onto this list is Dolittle, which is a big pile of trash and was rubbish. And how did they get so many famous people into this film that was just a steaming pile of dog shit that I'm sure Dolittle could talk to as well. I only set myself 3 channel goals, and I only managed to do 2 of them. Who surprised? No one, because, you know. So my first goal was to post videos twice a week, which I've definitely been doing, sometimes 3 times a week. I'm sort of alternating between 3 times a week and 2 times a week, depending on my schedules. Hopefully that's a consistent enough approach for you guys. I don't know, let me know how you feel about consistent posting. The next channel goal that I gave myself was to post a book face video, and I did. I made my face turn into Ninth House. Not very well, mind you, but like I posted a picture of it on Instagram and it went through onto my Twitter, and Lee Bardugo liked that tweet, so I can die happy now, so you know, that's fine. And my last channel goal was to post an episode of Stranger Than Fiction, which is the sketch series that I started, and I'm sure you've all forgotten about by now because I haven't posted a sequel to it, but I definitely have one in my head. It's just finding the time and the right beard. So now we're moving on to my bookish goals, which I'm sure is more interesting to you guys than all the stuff I've been rambling about so far. So the first goal that I had was to read 1 book for the 500 plus pages or 15 plus hours challenge that I set myself, which I definitely killed. I've read like 6 books that are over 500 pages, but I only talked about the first one here, and that was Ravenheart by David Gemmell. It was the 3rd book in the Regante series, and I think it was like 501 pages or something like that, so it just scraped into the thing. But I was like, yeah, it counts, yeah. So my next bookish challenge was to read 3 books on my 20 book 2020 TBR, which is still a mouthful, and I still hate myself for naming it that, but oh well. And I didn't do this one. I actually only completed 2 of the books. I was meant to read another one for Thrillathon, but I just didn't get around to it, and I'll try better next time. So the ones that I did read were The Last by Hannah Jameson, and I read that as a buddy read with Mystery Date with a Book, and that was so much fun. We had a great time with that one. Definitely a great book for buddy reading, and so many different questions, so many things going on. It was just an awesome book. And the other book that I read was Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. Really enjoyed that one. It's a dystopian world that follows like Navajo gods and this woman who is hunting down monsters, and it's just really cool. So the next bookish challenge that I set myself was to read 3 books for the Black Shelf Project, and I didn't do that one either. I read 2 of them. Again, 2 of them, so I'm just cutting myself short by 1, but what are you gonna do? So I read 12 Shades of Surrender Bound by various people because it was a collection of short stories. Some of them were good, some of them were not good, and yeah, it was random. And the next book that I read for that was Destined to Play by Indigo Bloom, which we can blame for me not having read a 3rd book in this challenge because dear god, that book was rubbish. Watch the Complaints with Cat video if you're over 18. If you're not, I'm sorry, it was toss, and like this woman voluntarily let a man blind her so he could do weird sexy things with her, and it was not okay. It was like the handbook for non-consent, so I mean just don't go there. The next bookish challenge that I set myself was to read 2 thriller or horror books, and that's for another challenge that I've got going on. So the books that I read for this were No Exit by Taylor Adams, which I really, really enjoyed. It is like a sort of isolated thriller about a woman who stops at like a truck stop because she can't go anywhere because they get snowed in, and she finds a child that's been kidnapped in the car of one of the people who's in the truck stop with her. So it's really good. I really enjoyed it. Very fast paced and just fun. Like a fun thriller. The next one that I read was Sixth Target by James Patterson and Maxine Petro, and that is the 6th book in the Women's Murder Club series. Just average. Just very average. And also the 6th book in a series, so I won't tell you too much about it. Starts with the ferry shooting. There's like other storylines that happen as well, and it's just average. The next bookish challenge that I set for myself was to read 2 books from my physical TBR, and from that one I read The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan and The House of Hades by Rick Riordan. So those are the 3rd and 4th books in the Heroes of Olympus series, because I just wanted to read more of that. I mean, they also count for the 500 plus pages thing. They were just books that I picked that didn't actually count for anything else technically at that point in time, and I got them off my physical TBR. And the last bookish goal that I set for myself was to finish the series. So for this one I chose to finish off the Regante series, so I read Ravenheart by David Gemmell, as previously mentioned, and Storm Rider by David Gemmell. And yeah, I really enjoyed the series. Ravenheart, my favourite book in the entire series. It hit me so deep with the emotional blow that like I feel sorry for the 4th book because it can't compete with that like physical chest pain, rip your heart out and stomp it into the ground and then pour salt over it and then feed it to your cat kind of pain. Like, yeah. So that was good. I'm really glad I finally finished that series because I definitely started that when I was a teenager, and like the only one I hadn't read was Storm Rider, so I had to reread the whole thing to get to that point. I'm really glad that that's the first series that I finished in 2020. So those are the winter goals that I'm wrapping up for you guys right now. Do you guys do goals videos as well? I mean, let me know how you did with your goals. And if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!